Today on the Auburn Torch, we're taking a look at national rankings updates for a lot of Auburn teams that are in the top 10 across several sports, and we're asking the question, what will it take for Auburn men's golf to jump up to number one in the nation? Let's get into it. Astute viewers will recognize. There's my cat. Astute viewers will notice that the transitions in our video element during the intro music, the transitions have changed because CapCut has decided to rotate our transitions behind their paywall. And I could just pay the $20 or whatever, but it's just a transition to get the CapCut Pro. That's the video editing software that I use. I could get it eventually just because, like, if I get any better at TikTok or Instagram, I could use their auto captions. Like, it gives you a few per month. I haven't used it that much. So anyway, eventually, if we up our Instagram and TikTok game, eventually I'll get it, but I'm like, oh, we'll just use a different transition for right now. so there you go. You'll notice. That's how they get you, I guess. They just like rotate their features. What's behind, what's free and what's not. I'll get it eventually. Put it on the Torch business account, but haven't messed with it yet. And plus I want to get the most out of it. I got to get better at TikTok and Instagram and stuff. Those first weeks, like before launch, I like had some ideas and I was doing stuff, and now, it's tough. If you want to help, if you're listening and you want to help, send me like TikToks or Instagram reels that you just like. That cover sports, right? Just send them to me, and I'll. And you don't have to explain anything. And I can see about replicating them because I gotta up that game. Today, let's just take a look. I would like to just do a little rankings update. And we can look at the schedule too, but because I know, knowing me, Friday I will probably be talking about the Auburn Gymnastics top 8 warm-up lineups. First, women's tennis. Looking at the rankings, they stayed at number 4. There was activity around Auburn from ITA Indoor Nationals. Ohio State jumped the top 5 you're seeing before ITA Indoor Nationals here for audio listeners. Number 1, Georgia. Number 2, Texas A&M. Number 3, North Carolina. Number 4, Auburn. Number 5, LSU. And basically, Texas A&M dropped to number 5, and Ohio State moved up to number 2 because Ohio State made the final at Indoor Nationals. And Auburn's stuck at number 4. Georgia's still number 1. Let's see what that score was at Indoor Nationals. I would be curious. Doesn't list the score, but yeah, Georgia won. But Ohio State made it, and Ohio State beat A&M in the other semifinal. So Auburn State split at number 4. A little bit of movement around them. UNC. Ohio State also had a win over UNC, so that's why UNC's still at number 3. I think, I don't know if at this point, I don't know if the schedule is algorithm based because it's not sorted by their WTN. So I guess it is like a committee, at this point in the season. All right. Equestrian dropped from number 1 to number 2 after a road loss at South Carolina. South Carolina bumped up from number 6 to number 5. Current rankings now. Number 1, Georgia. again, the dog is a thorn in Auburn's side. You don't think about Georgia as one of those everything schools, right? Like you think about, obviously like Stanford, and then you think about like, Florida, good at swimming, good at golf, good at everything, You really don't think about Georgia as being that, but Georgia's there right now. They really are. So here's your top 5 for equestrian: Georgia, Auburn, SMU, Texas A&M, South Carolina. There's that, and then softball. Auburn is receiving votes. This is old anyway. This is from the 9th, so we'll see if something new. But Auburn did, if I'm not mistaken, get a ranked win. Sorry, let's figure that out on the fly together, you and me. When they beat, was it Notre Dame was ranked? Am I making this up? Michigan State? Nope. Michigan State's receiving votes. Clemson. It was Clemson. Yeah, they beat Clemson. Clemson has since fallen to number 18. They were number 9. So Auburn has a ranked win. That this run rule loss at North Florida, I would imagine, being why they're receiving votes and not number 25 right now. And then tonight. So today, looking at the calendar here, it's Thursday the 12th. Today, Auburn hosts Illinois softball. 5 p.m. night game, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday playing a medley of Bradley, Campbell, and Binghamton. Here we'll just look at this. Will be a quick episode today. Let's just that's about the big one. No. Sorry, the big one. NCAA men's golf moved up to number 2 in the they're using. So I asked about this. They're using Clipped, which does their rankings now, which has this weighted ranking system where who even knows what this is. You could probably read a book about this weighted ranking system, but it does involve like strength of schedule, difficulty. It tries to weight difficulty of courses. It tries to weight what teams did on each course. It also helps to win by 13 strokes instead of 1 stroke. So Auburn has moved up from number 4 to number 2 after their win at in Hawaii. The thing is, they're behind Virginia. Will Auburn move up again is the question, right? What does it take to get Auburn at number 1? I think Virginia, it sounds like, might have to have a cold spell because Virginia is really good. And they have so if you see on the right here, their average weight points, theirs is 85, Auburn's 81, and the next best is 73. So Auburn's position, Virginia and Auburn's position at 1 and 2, pretty secure. But will Auburn, the thing about Virginia, they made the national final last year in match play in the bracket. They beat Auburn. They're the team that knocked Auburn out. Virginia was a 7 seed. Auburn was a 2 seed. Virginia made it all the way to the national final, and they bring their entire team back. So they have their whole roster back. It might be tough. We might be looking at that number 2 next to Auburn for men's golf for quite a while. But we'll see. So the top 5 for audio listeners is Virginia, Auburn, number 3 Vanderbilt, number 4 LSU, number 5 Texas. You're mercifully saved from the Georgia Bulldogs here. They're number 33. And we might as well take a look at the women. Auburn is at number 8 as of February 11th, as of yesterday. Stanford, number 1. What was I saying earlier? So that was the big one I wanted to talk about, and I almost forgot it. Will Auburn crack number 1, move up to number 1 this season? We'll see. It'll depend on, how well they do, but even I think more so depends on, how poorly Virginia does here and there, right? Because I think that's just what it's going to depend on. Auburn men's golf, please check out auburntorch.com. Auburn men's golf is playing in Gainesville at Florida this week. They've got their sights set on an even more difficult challenge. I talked to Caden Pope, who scored 20 under in Hawaii. We talked about how they use their driver to their advantage. So if that, how their first shot right off the tee is creating a big advantage for Auburn. I try to look at the numbers and point out exactly how tangibly what kind of difference it makes. Check that one out. As for all sports schedule, I figured out that track is at Clemson and it's the distance runners going up to Massachusetts. That's why there's two different things on this schedule, two different track meets at this schedule. The biggest, I'm sure tomorrow we'll talk about gymnastics at LSU. That's going to be an uphill battle. The quad meet in Dallas might be a good opportunity for Auburn to actually pick up its first, win. Head-to-head wins and losses don't really matter, but they could, hear their name called at the end. But North Carolina's all right, so we'll see. And NC State's all right. So we will see. Highlight of the rest of the weekend, I will say I'm going to go with Auburn softball against Campbell. Very interesting. That Campbell staff has a lot of former Auburn coaches on it, which is obviously probably why this game was scheduled to begin with. A lot of buddies and a lot of familiar faces, but they'll be motivated. The coaches will, at least. So very interesting. We'll see how that goes. Women's golf starts on Sunday, and they're in Melbourne, Florida. So got a ways out for that. But yeah, so today just softball. Looks like it'll be streaming on SEC Network Plus. Auburn hosting Illinois, and then crowded schedule for the rest of the weekend. But we'll be back to talk a little bit more about it tomorrow, and probably look more at this at gymnastics. See what's up with top 8. See if anything changes. See what they can do to try to help their scoring. So that we'll call it today. Everybody, take care.